Oh yeah, that feels good. Whew.
This is the way.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chopperfett channel. My name's Brett. We make the motorcycle videos and motorcycle vlogs here on YouTube. Yeah, a new one. But it's a modular, so it's different, so it's better, right? Well, yes and no, I guess you could say. Today is going to be a pretty simple video. We're going to compare a $700 Shoei to my $400 Shoei in the RFSR and see what's a better value for your money. I was going to compare it to the Rocks, but I was like, no, I got the Shoei RFSR at home. I still love that helmet. Let's see how good this is compared to that. And so I have a list of 5 things or so that I felt I could compare it to and just kind of give you my first opinion. This is only my second ride with it, but I think I've put enough miles on the bike now with the helmet on to make some conclusions. So let's go ahead and get riding and we'll figure out what those actually are. That's one of the cool things.
I believe you're a big dork.
Alright, so one of the things when we're all looking for our new helmet is always going to be wind noise and how loud is the helmet? And is it quiet or is it annoying? Does it roar like a banshee? And I'm happy to say that this helmet does a pretty good job with it. It has a kind of a bassier tone, and the RFSR is kind of the same way. So actually, if I was to compare those to the Rocks have a little bit higher pitch, and the Shoeis have a little bit bassier. So when you do like a decibel test, the Shoeis could actually show higher than a Rock, but the perceived sound in a Rock could actually be louder. It's kind of weird how that works. Anyway, as far as the wind noise that's in this one, it's pretty good. I've taken it up to highway speeds a few times, and there's no weird ear popping or anything weird with the audio that I can attest to so far anyway. But is it as good as the RFSR is in terms of quietness? And I'm going to have to give the notch actually to the RFSR in terms of the overall quietness of the helmet. Now we have to be a little upfront that we're kind of comparing apples to oranges on these helmets. Apples and oranges. Because one helmet is a full face helmet and the other helmet is a modular. And I think with the modular, I just don't think no matter what you do, you're going to get the overall quietness that you're expecting out of like a full face helmet. I'm not saying this is bad by any means. I'm wearing this today without earplugs, just like I do with the others, and my ears aren't popping, they're not ringing. It's been very enjoyable so far today. So I don't want that to be an overall determining factor, but if I have to give an advantage to one or the other, advantage RFSR. Now as far as the ventilation is concerned, I'm going to give this one a tie. I feel like the RFSR does vent air fairly decent, and I feel like this vents air fairly decent. Now, it's not going to vent, say, like a Rock with the big front snout and the ventilation they have on top. But on a warm day, my head is able to stay cool enough. There's enough flow coming in for it to, if I'm perspiring or sweating, it's going to kind of do a cooling effect. This one has the bottom chin vent, which it can go up and down, which actually affects the noise quite a bit actually when I'm doing that. So, woo. Sorry if you're getting wind noise, but I need to stay cool. And then we have the top one that is just slides down and slides forward. So just the two vents, but they do allow good airflow. So in this comparison between RFSR and Neotec 2 for airflow, I give this one a tie or a push. The next thing that we'll talk about though is the overall comfort of the helmet. This is where I feel like the Neotec kind of kicks it up a notch. And even with like the GT Air 2 I had, I always felt that it was a little bit more plushier and a little bit more comfortable than the RFSR. And along with the cheek pads, I feel being a little bit higher quality, that also comes with the other creature comfort of not having a D-ring buckle. This one has a ratchet system, just like the GT Air 2 did, and it makes putting on and off that much easier. Not quite fidlock easy, but you know, pretty easy. You just trink, and then that's it, and then you just release the lever, and then that's how you get it off. The inside feels roomy, like in the ear section. The forehead is like right against the brow, so it is feeling like it is kind of squishing the cheeks a little bit when I get everything closed down. That's how a helmet should feel. And honestly, it's just, it feels more comfortable and a little bit not as hard to ride with, I guess, as the RFSR. Again, RFSR is not bad to ride with. It's more the fact that I can feel just the overall kind of a little bit upgraded quality difference. It's like if you bought a really nice Toyota and then you bought a Lexus, for example. It's the same company, it's just they make things a little bit differently for higher priced products. As far as the vision of the helmet is concerned, I can see very well side to side. I feel like with this helmet I can see just a little bit farther than the RFSR from the side to side. This is actually more closely comparable to my Rolex, if I'm not being that animal. If I'm being completely honest with you, I can see directly to my left and directly to my right out of my peripheral. I do get just a hint of actually seeing the helmet when looking through the peripheral, but it's not terrible. Looking over my shoulder for lane changes and of that nature is not a problem. So overall vision is good, and I would give it a slight notch over the RFSR. Now, one of the additional features that I do love about this helmet is the fact that if it's hot, we're saying like 90 degrees, 95 degrees, and I'm getting into stop and go traffic, or I'm cruising, let's say at 35 to 40, I can do this. And I'm sorry how loud this is right now, but the air that's coming through just feels so good, so good. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that, but the ability to flip that open and basically ride with a 3/4 helmet while you are kind of going through some slow traffic, and maybe safety isn't as big a concern for you at that point in time, or there's going to be less damage if you're in an accident, so you pop it up. It feels really, really good. And it even feels pretty good on the visor when you just crack it a little bit. It lets in a ton of air through there as well. So that's one thing obviously the RFSR does not have, is that modular capability. Now again, some people may not be able to justify the extra $275 for that capability, but I do like having that option. This will most likely be the helmet I will pick up when it is super hot, and I know I'm not just going to be cruising backcountry roads where I'm constantly going. If I know I'm going into the city, this is going to be the helmet of choice for me. Now, the other thing that I do like about this helmet is the fact that it does have the ability to add a Sena SRL unit directly in. So if you're looking at the helmet here, you can barely tell that there's a comm unit. It's basically the few buttons over here on my left hand side, and everything else is just built in. So it's kind of like the Shockwave, where everything is made to fit and has a place. This is no different. I'm actually, for the microphone that I'm using today, I actually have it stuffed into the same boom mic windsock cover as the Sena is. Now, what I can't really truly weigh in on, though, is how well the Sena SRL works at this point. I can't imagine it working less good than my Sena 20S Evo. The 20S Evo, I just always had a tough time connecting and things of that nature. I haven't had the chance to try and connect this up to any other riders yet to see how that's going to be. But my guess is I'm going to be using the app to get those direct connections. It is not a mesh communicator. However, I did learn they did just release a mesh SRL2. So if mesh is your thing, then by all means go grab it. The speakers and the audio quality from the Sena are also a little lackluster. They lack a lot of bass.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble.
Which I know it seems kind of silly, but if I am listening to music, I do like to have that perception of bass inside my ears, and it's as good as the Sena 20S Evo's speakers probably are. So all in all, I would probably give the Sena units that go with these helmets a wash. But honestly, if this didn't come with the Sena for everything, because I bought this whole setup used, if it didn't come with the Sena, I probably would have went with a Cardo, Pack Talk, or Edge, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, that's not really a detriment to the helmet, and that's why I'm not really factoring that into the overall effect of it. We're comparing $700 base helmet to $429 base helmet. But overall, I do like this helmet a lot. It's much, much better than the GT Air 2. The GT Air 2 runs about the same price, full face helmet, but there's just something about that helmet I never really jived with. It ran so hot. There was no airflow despite having the name Air in the title. But when comparing that to the RFSR, this versus the RFSR, it is better than the RFSR, but I don't know if it's $275 better. Again, the flip-up modular capability makes it so I can have more function and maybe use this in a different style riding or a different riding environment. So while the RFSR is good, this one is also good, and each one has their respective place. I don't think you could go wrong with purchasing either, if I'm truly being honest. I am not a paid endorsement for Shoei. As everyone knows, I do have a huge collection of my Roroks, which is also not a paid endorsement. But I hope that everyone is, knows me for being a helmet person, and when I kind of go over some highs and lows of a helmet, I'm being forthright and forthright with you, I guess would be the word. Oh man, but with that being said though, I hope you guys enjoyed this little comparison video. Again, it's just my thoughts on a cheaper entry line Shoei versus the more top of the line one. Again, I don't really think you could go wrong with either of them. Go and drop your comments down below and let me know what you think. And actually let me know what you think of the audio quality today. This is not something I'm going to do for a sustained period of time with this helmet, because I'm just using a cheap Xbox mic that was like $7 or $8, and I'm only probably going to film just these couple episodes with this helmet on. The Rock is more built for good audio quality and good video, so this one is more just a quick test ride, so that's why everything is looking the way it is. That being said though, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video today, and as always, I will catch you on the next dark side, as this is the way. Chopperfett seeing ya later!